Um, testing. All right. So yeah, we have a Discord now. So if you want to join, the link is in the YouTube description, or you can find it. Where can you find it? You can find it on the Steam page as well. And if you have ideas, I would really appreciate it if you'd share them, even if you maybe think they're obvious or not that good. It still helps me just getting input, and yeah, that helps me immensely. So if you want to help me develop the game, feel free to join the Discord. And we have some cool people in there already. And yeah, thanks. Hey McNilly, scared me. I guess I had this page open the whole time and randomly heard your voice. Sorry about that. You're not the first person that happened to. That's funny. Yeah, let me move this out of the way. So I have the better combat in the game, but I need one level up in terms of game loops, and to accommodate that I will have to place enemies procedurally going forward. I mean, I could probably continue with the system I have, but what I'll do is I'll try out if I can recreate how the enemies are placed right now with procedural generation. It shouldn't be too hard, because the only thing that makes this not completely random how the enemies are placed right now. Let me actually show you. So yeah, you have a picture. Okay. Assertion failed. Okay, so I guess wait, I should still be that's a new assertion I just put in. That's good to know that there's a problem, but I want to get to the editor. I should be able to get out here. Yeah, okay. So if I go into the world, so everything that's this cyan color are entities. Yellow ones are just markers. But as you can see, okay, did it crash again? It did crash again. Path index. Okay, yeah, those assertions are just bad. Okay, now they're gone. Let's look at another place here, for example. So all these entities are placed by hand, and they appear like that in the game. So the question is, can I procedurally generate these locations? And the answer is, of course, yeah. It's not that hard. I just have to space them out evenly, and have them belong to a location. So if I turn on the boundaries, or better yet, look in here. So I could say this is an entrance into a dungeon, to this dungeon. And I could say, okay, this patch that is directly leading into the dungeon and all those surrounding it have skeletons. And then if I look at the ruins over here, that's also probably skeletons. But then if I look at a couple of houses here, I can just classify them as spawning zombies. So that would basically recreate everything. And on the unassigned patches, I spawn things like jackals and trolls. And there are cobalt camps as well. So the thing is, I could either place some extra markers. So I have these region markers, or sub-region markers. I could put another marker next to it to define what kind of monsters I could spawn there. Or I could just say, okay, the whole sub-region 4, which is the Overlook Ridge, is mainly populated by zombies. And yeah, so why I need that, or why it would be helpful to have that, is the path is now divided into segments with the portals. And I would want to have some variation between the segments. So I may want to swap out all the enemies for something different. I could maybe do it with the with how they are placed now, so just turn every zombie into something different. But I may also want to spawn more or less depending on the monster type, so that will be a problem. And yeah, it would just give me more freedom in general. So the let me see. So there are several layers to this. It's actually not there. It's in my notebook. Yeah, there are several layers. So the first layer is the tile patch. So everything that has a color, different color here. Those are the tile patches. Then the segments are chained together tile patches, 10 or so of them. Hey Ethan, how's it going? And the segments run through the sub-regions in the world, which belong to a larger region. So, but that's all geographically. That's not purely gameplay related. So if you imagine a segment, that's a stupid example, but imagine a segment being, I decide that the player should now encounter a segment that's filled with fire enemies and be completely burnt down. That would be purely gameplay related and not to the world geography itself. So yeah, I'm juggling that right now. Yeah, how you doing, bud? I'm doing fine. Doing fine. I'm on the edge of being confused again with all this stuff, all the choices in the game. But yeah, so basically the impetus of all of this is to make the portals matter. And why I put them in the game in the first place. I want these segments that the player encounters. There are about 10 segments right now. I want them to differ depending on what the player does. And not in terms of being burnt down or having a blizzard, but the first step is purely what the purpose of the segment is in terms of gameplay, immediate gameplay. So that means there will be a segment that has just supplies, there will be a segment that has a charm, there will be a segment that has an NPC, will be a segment that has shenanigans with the portals, or with the exit portal, or the incoming portal, and stuff like that. So that's a small step towards having the segments be really wild, which I'm not sure if they'll ever be, but they'll be more and more varied. And to pace that, I have to basically alter alter what's on the segments, because I can't just so the path is completely random through the world, and let's say I do it the old way, or the handmade way. I create areas in the game, basically a mosaic of small areas that serve that purpose. So this one would be supplies. Over here would be a charm. Over here would be a special monster or an NPC. And then I let the path generator snake its way through to make a good run. But the problem is that I can't guarantee that I'll hit all these points, and that's complicated by the fact that you can go underground into dungeons, and so yeah, it's all a bit problematic. But the first step will be just making the last step was making the combat more interesting, and now I'll try to make the world traversal more interesting in terms of gameplay, not in terms of lore or plot or something like that, just purely gameplay. And yeah, making the enemies not be static would be really helpful in that. And it would also make it much easier to place less enemies in the beginning and more in the end. And yeah, so but looking at the spider nest here, I'll have to solve that in some kind of a way. Maybe I'll just leave the cocoons and don't spawn the spiders. So you could have a spider nest that's overrun by kobolds. I don't quite like that as much, but it works. Or I could just say, okay, in the generator, if I see a cocoon or a spider web on a tile patch, I can make the enemies be spiders. So that'll also be solvable. And yeah, there are clutter objects, especially in the kobold camps. So yeah, there's a kobold, and it has these poles placed near it, and often also, for example, here the two jackals have dirt patch underneath. So those are all things that I can place by with an algorithm. So that's not a problem. But yeah, there may be edge cases that make this more difficult. So yeah, first of all, I'd have to clean all of this up. But that's okay. And I think I did have a checklist. Yeah, so basically what this would involve is removing all the spawns in the world. And yeah, with the robbers that gets more complex. So I'd have to basically have an algorithm to spawn those in. I mean, that's not that complicated, but that's extra work. And so remove all signs of the entities in the world, and then have the path generator place the first of all the just the enemies, and then the decorations. Maybe in a second step. But I mean, the benefit of that is, of course, that I have, so that if you pass this point in the world twice, there won't be a rubber camp there. Might be nothing, might be kobolds. So it would add a variety to the game. So that's good. I'm still weighing the benefits versus the costs. But then, yeah, before I can place the monsters, I would have to create, first of all, tags for the monsters, so that each monster gets a tag. For example, it's very big, meaning it has high health, or it's slow. I mean, I have slow and fast, but these tags, so I can vary them between the segments, so that it's not all skeletons, but it still makes sense. And then I need tables for the subregions. So each subregion would have a monster table that defines which monsters can spawn in that region. Yeah. So if I look at the objective, which is to have each segment serve a purpose. Let's look at it from this angle before I spend a couple of days implementing this and it doesn't actually solve the problem. And I haven't thought about this very deeply. I mean, how about the entity removal? I thought pretty good about these segment types. So if a segment's purpose is supplies, then I would just need to place baskets and chests on it. So that's super easy. I can just make a little prefab, place it on the marker that has bit of clutter and a basket and a chest maybe. And then because the segment is 10 of these patches long, I can place supplies every third patch, for example. So that's easily solved. Then the next type of segment would be a charm segment, and I'm not quite sure how I'll implement that yet. But basically, right now charms are really hard to get by because they drop from chests and they fight for the chance to drop with the weapons. And I also want the charms to be achievable. So if you really want a type of charm, you should be able to achieve it. And that may, let's just say it takes an NPC, a special NPC. So for the NPCs to spawn, I'll have to have a, well, I could actually just spawn them on the markers as well. But it would be cooler to have them in a building, but also would be even cooler to have them off path, so that they're not in a segment at all. And I've thought about the charms. Currently they are passive buffs, but also weapon improvements. Which kind of doesn't mesh well, but it works with the disposable weapons. So you have a static charm that you find once and keep the whole game if you don't throw it away, and the disposable weapons. And yeah, a core of the game is that you have to get by with what you're given. So I had this idea for the hero carrying one weapon through the whole game, and that weapon being upgraded at different points. But that's just the exact opposite of having to deal with what you're given. So I didn't implement that. So I should carry the variable weapons forward. But I'm still not quite satisfied with the charms being buffs and weapon abilities in one. But I also can't enchant weapons that easily because they break. But that may actually be a way forward. So this is all to say that the charms and weapon updates should be separate. So they should also have two separate places where they are acquired. So one could be on a segment, but the other would probably be somewhere completely different with an NPC. So if I look at the world statically as it is right now, that's pretty much given. So yeah, so I'm less convinced that I actually need to make the enemies be spawned procedurally. But the yeah, so spoiler alert, But the third thing the segments do is you collect tokens. So there could be a segment that's just dedicated to finding a token that would be probably in parts or in whole. And with that token, you can change where the segment exit portal leads you. There could just be a momentarily exit from the path to basically a location with an NPC that can upgrade your weapon and back. It can also lead you somewhere into a gauntlet if things go wrong. But yeah, that's another type. So we have supply segments, we have charm segments or upgrade segments that may or may not be accessible through normal ways. And then we have the token segment that has in it probably some kind of a challenge. I'm thinking the illusion wanting to prevent you from getting these tokens. So I have shadows in the game. I had them since forever, but I mean they are implemented but not used in the game. And those could spawn on these token segments. And yeah, the thing is I need to space them out according to what the player currently has. And procedural enemies could help with that probably. But I could always just remove all the enemies that are statically placed if I need to, or just turn them all into shadows. That would work as well. So still no reason for the procedural. Oh, I think there was a reason. There was pacing. Yeah, pacing is difficult with these static enemies. And then there are just permutations of the normal segments. So there could be one way where the exit portal is missing or it's broken, and you'll have to find a side exit. And there could be just deactivated exit portals where you have to find a lever or something to activate it that's hidden in this segment. And yeah, and with all that, so there could also be malfunctioning portals that just take you into a very bad place that you have to get out of. And so yeah, it's probably too early to remove the static entities. Yeah. Okay. So let's not do that today. But it's always a thing in my toolbox that I can implement if I need to. So let's look at something else, and that is the light map. So currently I can't really test that, or can I? Yeah, I think I can. Okay, so the problem is in the portal jumps, if you jump too far, you will see the edge of the light map. And light map is just a region of a giant rectangle around the hero where the light is calculated, so everything outside it is completely dark. And if a portal jump is too far and reaches the edge of the light map, you'll see a dark edge. And that is because the light map is hooked to the hero position, and the hero position stays behind while the camera moves forward, and only lands once the camera track is complete. So what I would want is hooking the light map to the camera. The problem is that the light map depends on a strict grid that's given by the hero position, and the camera is of course floating point. So there are some issues there. And the main issue, I'll have to look at the code, but I think the main issue is that the light map cannot be scrolled more than one tile at a time. I think that's still the case. And you can imagine the camera moving insanely fast and skipping a tile in a frame, so that the tile map would have to move, would basically jump. And I'll have to look into that. Another problem is the what's it called? The it's not interpolation. It's the discretification. Don't think that's a word. Another problem is that you have a floating point number and you have to round that in the correct way to get the fixed hero position from the camera, or something fixed like the hero position from the camera. But let's just try it out. Okay, let's go into the struct and reduce the light map size. Let's make this 16 and 8. So that's super tiny. This should be visible just during normal play. And yeah, you can see it at the edges there flickering. That's actually a bit large even. Let's make it super tiny. And so just for background, the light map is nothing fancy. It's just a texture that has the same dimensions. So the texture is now 8 by 4 pixels. And why is that still looking so large? What? Have I built this correctly? Let me see. Okay, that's weird. Not sure why I can still see the whole screen. The light map being so tiny. So I'll have to solve that first. But basically, the light map is just a 2D array with float numbers for the brightness. that I turn it to a texture and upload to the shader, and the shader then looks at this texture and renders the tile in that texture pixel lighter or darker, depending on the value in the light map. So that's how I do the lighting. But what is going on? Okay, let's investigate. Light map, light map. Let's look at the shader. Oh, okay. Shader still thinks. It's 64 pixels. Let's see. Okay, that looks better. And I wonder where it gets its values from. So okay, this is confusing me. Why is it so you can see the edges kind of if I move, but they recover. They also have light on them. What is going on? What is going on? Okay, let's look at render. Update light map. So that just goes over the size, and then this ellipse. So there's a lerping step. The light map is, and that's why the shadows look so smooth in the game. The light map always lerps to a new position. So if a shadow changes, changes gradually over half a second or so. Okay, and I disabled the lerp, as you can see. Why is there a light streak going off to the right? This is all light. Okay, this is pretty messed up. But to be fair, I haven't looked at this code in a year probably. So I might just not know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the shader. So there's the light or level up, level add function. So this reads the light map. And it takes that and it just puts it, where is it? LV. Yeah, here. So this is the shader path for the perspective textured with the wave effect, and shader perspective textured BL. Don't remember what that is. But basically it just takes the color at that fragment and multiplies it by the light value at that position in the world. And the value it gets by, so it gets the fragment position, and then it converts it yeah, it converts it to world coordinates. So this is I have to do this because the world is not rectangular. It's not square. It's rectangular. So it's long. It's higher than it's wide for each tile, and for the whole world as well. So I'll have to convert from the light value position VP. But that shouldn't that be already in render space? So this is getting the ratio of the tiles. 8 divided by the what is S width? That's just yeah, that's the tile width. 4 by 6. And divided by 8 is the ratio, because don't remember, but I think, yeah, the game was previously 8 by 8. So I just took that, and then it positions it in the light map. Yeah, so this is world position, this is map position. And UPHE, that's the uniform position for the hero. And it does stuff. So I have the map position. So yeah, basically the position of the hero is also a world position. And I need to have the relative offset of this position to the hero, because the hero is always in the center of the light map. And this might also be why everything is not black outside the light map, because this still, well, okay, I clamp it, never mind. Okay, the map position is then clamped. So, oh, that might be it. Yeah, so it never leaves. That's actually, I don't like that. It should be, do I put an if statement in here? Probably. I think clamp is already an if statement. So if mx less than 0. Can I do that more intelligently? So what I want is, I have this rectangle, which is the light map. And if this position falls outside of it, I want this function to return 0. And that would make everything black that's outside of the light map. How can I do that without an if statement? I mean, one would be okay, but I need 4. So this is actually a relative space. So that's 0 to light map width times 2. What are these two values? Why do I clamp it to light map width? Oh, okay. Width is the it's not the radius, so it's just width. So it's probably better to not put in, to leave it the way it is, because it doesn't take up resources. Because the light map edges should be off the screen anyways. So, but let's just do it to see if I'm right. So if x is less than 0, or it's greater than the light map width -1, turn 0, and the same for y. Okay. Cast from float. Okay, that's oh god. And actually I cannot. Oh god. I can't return this, but I can. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, that looks more like it. Why is the northeast? One, two, 3, 4. That's not. That doesn't look correct. Okay, less than 0. Like this doesn't make sense. So is the rounding slightly off? What? This is a mystery. Okay, light map is active in the editor as well. Pretty funny. Okay, that's a problem as well. But I think I introduced that yesterday. These stairs not rendering. It's also a fun mode to play. A slice of the world. If it was centered, like this. So I think there's a rounding error with hero position. I mean, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme, because the light map covers the whole screen, but still weird. So yeah, the problem has to be here. So hero position minus the half light map width. Is there a rounding error there? Can I do that? Looks the same. Yep. Is this an... Oh, there's no integer vectors. Nope. Nope. Is the position that I pass in wrong? Hero X, hero Y. No. That looks good. Let's just try this. Can you give me a day? Okay, now that's perfectly centered. That's also suspicious. Because the light map is 8 tiles wide. And not 7, like here. But, I mean, that's okay. Hey Squint. How's it going? Trying to decipher my old lighting code. Yeah, what was the... Okay, the actual problem. Let's solve the actual problem. Actual problem is that is actually exactly this. Position hero. This should not be the hero position, but the camera position. So let's plug in the camera. And it's dark. That's not good. UPHE. Let's see if I don't have a typo somewhere. Okay, it comes in. UPHE is now a float. Somewhere in between. And I use that to, okay, M divided by, I need to make these integers, no? To sample the light map. Oh, there we are. No, we're not. Oh, is it just so dark? Okay, that would make sense. But why? Camera position. Okay, let's see where that's set. That is set there. Okay, that's the laved position. So the camera moves behind where the hero is, and that's camera P. That's the actual position of the camera. There's a camera.w. That's the position it wants to be. So yeah, cam.p is correct. But why does the shader freak out? Do I maybe, oh, I need, yeah, let's make this, let's revert this and say round. Okay, doesn't like that. Global function round requires 130 or later. You're kidding me. I have to update my shaders. Let's ask Google. What OpenGL version does GLS L130 belong to? Yeah, so I can't use that. Oh my god. I don't have a round function. Okay, let's do it the old school way, I guess. Okay, still back. That doesn't help. Okay, let's move back to hero before we're, yeah, I mean that just works. I could round it there. Nope. Why doesn't it like the camera? Okay, let's use W. And that works. Looks very bad. But it works. So why does the camera not work? The actual position. Oh, is that in world space? Let's see. Never mind. Camera. Where do I make the conversion? From a square world to a rectangular world. Is that only in the camera? Oh god. Let's print out the position. Let's do it down here. Cam. Actually, that's enough. X and Y. And then just the position, the hero. Let's see. Okay, they are completely different. What is going on? So yeah, the camera is in render space, meaning everything's rectangular, but the position is in square space. That's just the indices into the world map, but this is the actual rendering position. How do I convert back? Why is it not enough to not just avoid this? That's weird. Okay, let's leave this. Let's look at the render code. Where is this set? Wait, I don't get it. I don't think it is converted. Oh, there it is. There is the conversion. So let's just undo it. Divided by T6 minus PWX times 2. And here we are. Okay, as you can see, this is weird. Let me undo this. See if that's better. No. Okay, so the light map is now unlocked from the grid. So I'll have to lock it back. It's also offset. Weirdly. I have no idea what this PWY does, but it's pixel width in the world. Okay, that's, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Okay, that's worse. It has to be minus. And now I need to in the fragment shader. I'll need to somehow clamp the camera to the grid again. Not sure if how hard that is. Especially since I don't have a round function. But actually, let's just try rounding this. Okay, it kind of works, but it flickers. That's also not good. So yeah, it can't be the camera that lags behind. So this needs to be the world position. Oh, 2. Yeah, it needs to be camera 2. But wait, that can't also be correct. Because if I do the portal tween, it needs to stick with the moving camera. That's a hard problem. What do you mean by procedural enemies in the title? I went over that, but I discarded it. Discarded the idea for now, but it's basically all the enemies are placed by hand right now, which has the advantage that I can decorate monster nests. The idea is that maybe if I want the segments of the path to vary depending on different factors, it would be easier if they were all procedurally placed, but not procedurally generated enemies. No. Yeah, this won't turn into a No Man's Sky. No. Enemies will always be fixed. Unless there's a good reason for maybe one monster type that changes or something. Okay, so how do I make that light map? Camera. So this is the camera target now, just as before. There's this ugly flickering. I'm not sure. Maybe if the light map is big enough, maybe. Oh yeah, you will be able to see this. Let me just try. Light map. Let's move this back up. 32 and 16. What is happening? Oh yeah, I need to change it in the shader. But interesting effect. 32. Okay, that looks better. But yeah, there's the flickering. It's also offset. But if I could get rid of the flickering and that it lags behind. Does it lag behind? No, it doesn't. If I can get rid of the flickering, that would actually work. Would it? Wait. I think the whole update code is still using the hero position. Yep. Okay, that probably won't work. I2. Let's just try that. And then initialize light map. What's that called? Oh god. I mean, that should be fine. Let's see. Okay, it did make it worse. I wonder why it's flickering. If I move slowly, it kind of flickers. That's an off by one thing. So there's a rounding problem. What if I floor this? And then in the, yeah, here, Same thing. Oh, I'll have to... Don't I have to... undo the render space transform here as well? Would be weird if not. Okay, still. Because... I think that was the transform. Still flickering. But if this works, then I mean the problem would be solved for the light map, for the large camera jumps. Oh yeah, but the flooring would work only in one direction. I think there's just some reference that's bad. LMP. Probably. What is SP? P? Okay. Here. That looks like a problem. So this function converts from the world space to the light map space. But it used the hero position as a reference, but now it uses the camera. Please work. No. Same thing. Where else? I use the hero position. The line of sight, of course. Okay. What is the hero, the camera world position? Okay, that's just the reference. I think I need a new update camera. Yeah, I need cam. Reference. World position. World 2. Nope. What is it? It's a... Yeah, it's the lab position. And that's just cam the W. What? That's not true. Oh. Yeah, I need something completely different. Lab cam. Lab position is position. This is ugly. That is ugly. But this gives me the in-flight position rounded to the nearest tile. Lab matrices position. So this is... Let's look at lab cam. There's no... I need to figure out where to do the transform from a square world into the rectangular world. That's done right here. The camera position, that's all over the place. It should only happen once. But just to try this out, where is the rest? So P is LP. This is LP.x. Oh, that's cam.lp.x. Cam LP. And that's height. Don't care about the camera height. That makes sense. And it still flickers. Okay. That's all right. I'll figure it out. Eventually. But apparently not on stream, not today. But yeah. It's so weird. Yeah, just got a crash when I attacked a crab with an axe. Figured I'd say it while we're here. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. There was a bug that was crashing the game, but I thought I fixed that. He had foam next to him on the other side. That's a factor. That's a factor. So there was a crashing bug with these zombies that burst out from the ground. If there was something standing on top of them and they burst out of the ground, they replaced that entity and it just went into limbo. And then the garbage collector swooped in and crashed. So maybe it's another of those situations, but the crab doubled back over the foam it just placed. I've never had the crabs crash on me. Let's make a test. Maybe it was something off screen that crashed the game. That could also be the case. Just two entities interacting with each other. Let's get some crabs in here. Okay, I can't survive. Yeah, I think the crabs are fine. Okay, let me turn on guard mode. Oh, it still does damage. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, it might have been something off screen. I also had, I'm not sure, I changed how the path is being carved. And I had a weird issues yesterday. And I hope they're not in the game, but I couldn't enter an entrance. Because something was not loaded. I hope I added that problem yesterday and not before I made the update. But I'm not sure. Oh god. Because I haven't solved it yet. Yeah, I'll have to do that today. Maybe... Do you remember another type of monster being there? Maybe skeletons or something? Let's just plop some down. Or they must have interacted with something. Crab was the only thing in the immediate area I was aware of. Okay. Let's try some props. Actually, let's try the zombies. I
think I fixed that crashing problem, but who knows? Not raptors. There we are. Oh, wrong entity mounts. Wrong entity. Oh yeah, I fixed that because you can't run over the mounts. Over the dirt mounts. Anymore. Maybe the thicket. Yeah, I can't attack that. So that should also not be a problem. Wait, can monsters activate the portals? That would be pretty bad. Okay, that one wouldn't work anyways. Not sure. Maybe the bats. Because they... Wait, was it... Do you know if it was night or day? Can maybe enemies attack the thicket? No. Wait. So if they destroy it, that's fine. Night, pretty sure. Okay, then maybe it was a bat walking over something. The thicket. So the problem with the mound is that you could stand on top of it, but the thicket, if you destroy it, then nothing happens. Some baskets. I think they can't destroy this, but they can destroy grass. Dude. Maybe with some elevation. What is going on? Okay, I'm not retassellating. It's weird. Is the H for bat or holdover from when it was the Hornet? Yeah, I mean B was taken, so that's. I'm having problems with the letters. Okay, guys, could you crash the game? Doesn't seem like it. But wait, do I get crash reports over Steam? Let me see. Because if I can get a crash dump, then that would be insanely helpful. Oh god. Okay, in the demo. Looking at the options, but it's complicated in Steam. Okay, let's just Google it. Where can I find the crash dumps in Steamworks dashboard? What are available on the error reports page? Okay. So it should be somewhere. Oh god. Oh, a few errors. Select the build. All. Okay, no errors. Awesome. Might be something you have to set up is supposed to happening automatically. Yeah. If it would happen automatically, that'd be really bad. But normally, yeah, that's really unlikely. It's probably some objects interacting with each other, or something in the world not being right. But yeah, that's bad that it crashes. That's really bad. And I mean, I did run the test bot for about an hour before I uploaded the game on Friday. So I'm not sure if I can find the crash that way, but I'll try. The crash reports I meant that you have to set them up. Oh, okay. Sorry. Google said something toward that. It automatically collects and uploads mini dumps. Yeah, so that's probably just uploaded. I mean, it's a small section of your memory that gets copied and uploaded to Steam that I can then analyze. But Google says it automatically collects them after 10 similar exceptions occur, whatever that means. Not sure if it made that up. Could be the case. But yeah, my error dashboard is empty. Do you have to specify the memory? No. It's probably just the working memory of the game. Is it just whatever memory is related to running the game? Yeah. It just takes the memory of the game process that died, that's lying dead on the floor, and uploads that. Yeah. And yeah. Why does it not retessellate the game? Weird. But that's a new problem. So all these problems that I'm encountering are from things I did yesterday. So this is generate path. It does dirty all the tile, all the tessellation blocks should, so it should retessellate just automatically. Yeah. It goes through all the blocks, says, okay, they're dirty. Copy. So yeah, after stream, I'll run the editor, the test bot for an hour or so. See if I can catch the crash that way. Okay, here it is. Generate path from start and run. If that works, start there, start at, and that just, yeah, just that. Why doesn't it retessellate? BLIS, whatever that stands for, but it's the number of tessellation blocks I have, and I don't think it can overflow. So why is the when I jump into the game, it retains these colors? It makes no sense at all. These are just yeah, the elevation colors for the editor. Okay, now it retesslates. That's because it plopped the blood stain on the ground. For that, it had to retessellate the block. So you can see this is now correct, this block. And here again, for some reason that was retessellated. Oh yeah, every time I destroy something. Yeah. Super weird. Because this is run when I jump into the game. And then it says all blocks. Tessellate dirty blocks. And this is called UBL. So this is UBL, and that's called in the game every frame. It's getting weirder. It's just first impressions. I haven't played for hours, but I've kind of felt that enemy yellow flash removes too much uncertainty from fights. For now, it feels like combat is reduced to an if-else statement. I'd really encourage you to take advantage of environmental factors on my weapon's unique behavior. I haven't played for, but I've kind of felt that enemy's yellow flash removes too much uncertainty. Okay, now I get it. It feels like combat is reduced to an if-else statement. I'd really encourage you to take advantage of environmental factors on my weapon's unique behavior. Yeah, that's completely valid. That's completely valid. Now you're busy with other features, but I thought I'd share while we're here. Yeah, I'm looking for ways to change that, of course. There would be one way would be for enemies to have a super attack that occurs sometimes, and then generally just more varied enemies. For example, an enemy that's always attacking, but that's also destroyed in one hit every time. And then environmental factors, yeah, that's the problem with the layout of the path right now. There's often not enough space to maneuver. But yeah. Yeah, but the dagger is really cool. So the dagger is really fun, I think. I think the wolf jumps 2 spaces. Is that right? That scenario, at least you can't simply move backwards, which is good. The wolf. Don't think the wolf does that, but that's also a good idea. Leaping enemies. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just the first step, the combat, and I won't leave it at that, of course. But the yeah, it definitely makes it more interesting than it was before. But yeah, what's really funny are the spiders, because if you step away from a spider, it'll shoot you. So if you train yourself to always step backwards to evade an attack, the spider will get you. Yeah, that's fair enough. Don't mean to be too negative. I can see the potential. No, you're absolutely right that there's ample space for improvement. It's just that when I implemented the feature, it changed so much that I myself had to relearn the game, kind of, and then deciding what's good and what's not good in the span of 2 or 3 days. I couldn't do too much without risking doing harm, so I'll take it a step at a time. But yeah, no, I think it's a good step forward. And there are so many little things you could change, or little additions that take no time at all, that make this more interesting. And that's what I think is particularly cool. That there's not much effort required to make the combat more interesting. And it also brings more of the other features into play. For example, the spider webs are now really deadly. Whereas before you just, okay, you take another hit if you step into one, but now it could be your end if you get entangled in the spider web. So yeah, I like that it's bringing more features into interaction with each other. So yeah. But yeah, if you have more ideas, for example, the leaping wolves, then feel free to put them, tell them here to me, or put them in the Discord or on YouTube in comments, because yeah, I'm still juggling a lot of stuff, and I might not always see the most obvious thing, so that's really helpful. So yeah, thanks, Squint. Okay, let's just leave it at that for today. I will repair the light map and then look into the crash and into some other strange things that I discovered. All right. Good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the support. Join the Discord. And I'll be back tomorrow. All right. I see you then. Bye, guys.